All right, I'm here at Moffett, and I don't know if I pointed out yesterday, you probably already recognize that this is composite on the front, and I'll take a look at the back as well. Of course, composite is low maintenance. The paint all around the house looks good to me, and the sheathing itself is OSB, but it also looks like it has a really good coat of paint on it, which is what you want on your OSB. And the siding looks like wood to me, which is great because that's low maintenance. We do enter onto real hardwood floors, and these are pre-finished hardwood floors. We can tell that because of this bevel on the edge, so it's not finished in place. I love when you enter, a lot of times these houses, you come into this, we're entering to a staircase, but they'll have a wall that goes up and it really creates this kind of cramped space. And the stair risers are very wide, and then you have an open railing. And what's neat about this plan is it's pretty contemporary in a way. It's a traditional layout, but kind of contemporary. So over time, if you wanted to modernize it a little bit, this could become a metal stair rail. You could add trim to the doors, a wider trim here. You could make a raised panel door, quite a few things. But I think the big news of the day is, how do we use this room in order to benefit your need for some office space? So we're going to look at the family room, but we're going to start here and talk about, could we put a door, a French door or something on this space? And then could we put a door on that space? And I would do a door so that when the time comes for you to sell the house, this could easily be converted back to this family or living room. I saw the measurements online. I suspect they're measuring from this corner, but probably in fairness, we need to measure from this space. And so we have, that's about right. So could we, come out like to the 9-foot mark with a partition wall here, and make this space like a 9-foot by 11-foot office? Could you put a transom window over the top to allow some of this natural light to come in? And then would this would also be probably a little less than 9 foot, maybe 8 foot by 11. Obviously a desk could sit here, there could be a bench here, something like that, but this would probably be the only space that would work for offices, for 2 offices. Okay, we come into the kitchen, and I like that we have a wider counter here. This is laminate. We do have oak cabinets. It looks like they took the dishwasher out, and I don't know if it was out all the time or not, but there is no dishwasher. This looks out to that back deck, which it is indeed composite. We have an electric range. There is propane to the house, and since we're on a raised crawl space, if you ever wanted to plumb the propane to the spot where the range is at, you could certainly make a gas range there. But this openness is pretty darn cool. And this is actually a really nice space. So if you have a really big table, you could come this way. Otherwise, a round or a square would work well. And then this side of the counter is cantilevered. So you have room for maybe 3 bar stools. And then I suspect this is an understair closet. Yeah, so they've made a pantry here. It's, not giant, but it's pretty efficient. And then this really is a nice sized living space. Little fading of the hardwoods. They probably had furniture in this spot for a good long while. The treatment around the fireplace looks like a combination of polished and raw granite, I think. possibly a terrazzo. And then this is that mini split. So this is going to provide heat and air conditioning. I see some patches in the ceiling, so maybe over time they did some repairs. I don't know. When I go upstairs, I'll look to see if we had plumbing in either of these zones. Powder room and laundry room. So this is definitely newer. The floors in here are laminate. This is like a knotty pine. That's kind of nice. There's a deep sink here. And then this looks out over that sunny yard. Looks like before they had the mini splits, they just had wall heaters in each room. This is a whole house fan. Okay, and then the garage. So unfinished garage, so we don't have drywall or insulation except for on the wall that connects to the house. So that would be code. Not being drywalled or finished here would also be appropriate. We're not required to drywall or insulate exterior walls. Water heater, it's funny, it looks like a newer water heater. I don't necessarily see the year, but we wouldn't necessarily do it this way. So there isn't an expansion tank, and it's also not raised up off of the ground. So if we were putting this in today, we would have it up 18 inches and then there'd be an expansion tank. I do like that the pressure relief line, if we have a burst of pressure, that's gonna go into the crawl space, probably to a drain. Little daylight at the garage door. You'd want to put some weather stripping there in order to prevent little mice from getting in. Protran. I don't recall if we have a generator here, but I think that's what this is about. And so I've got only one blank here. Let's see. The mini split was just put in a little over a year ago in 2024. So there's not a lot of room in the panel to add much of anything. If you were going to add something like a hot tub or what have you, you may need to also update the panel. Looks like we have water main shut off here. Otherwise, there's nothing really exciting in the garage. Okay, up we go. The paint inside looks pretty fresh, and the flooring, the carpet looks maybe brand new. So the top of the stairs, we're gonna go to the left first. And here's your primary. Definitely big enough for a king size bed. So a really long headboard wall and good distance here. This may be the same size room as the living room downstairs. So headboard, nightstands, a little bench, a triple dresser. There's plenty of room there for that. Okay. Not giant, but it is a walk-in closet, and that has a pocket door. I'm gonna go with linen here. Yep, a little linen closet. Definitely this was updated at some point. So this is a faux wood tile. So it's a tile to make you think it's wood. Newer window here. Granite walk-in shower. This is, I'm sure they kind of did a gut job here, and that may be what we're seeing downstairs is when they remodeled this bathroom. They had to do something in order to, this was probably a tub shower combo. Who knows that if it were even a double vanity. For this age of home, it'd be pretty typical to be a single vanity. All right. I love the natural light in the space. So this will likely be a big linen cupboard. Okay, I took out some shelves probably so they could have room for vacuum cleaner and so on. Here's the girls' bathroom, shared bathroom. This is a quartz, I believe, newer vanity, likely the original tub shower. It is a tile surround, and this is a cast, like ceramic tub. Probably the mirror and the medicine cabinet are all original. Okay, so we saw the primary bedroom and now we have these 2 bedrooms. This will be to the back of the house. And 12 by 12 maybe. Wardrobe closet. It's missing its doors, but it still has the tracks. Looks like we have 1 window with failed gasket. That's a pretty easy repair. There's a little X here, so I'm assuming that's what's going on. I'm able to look down onto the roof, and you know, it's a metal roof. I think it looks in good shape. And then this is a nice size room. So probably 14 by 10 or 11. And then that's looking out over that yard that we wandered around yesterday. So the only way to do office would be to build something in that front room. Outside of that, there's no extra spaces. Or on the property, something you may have alluded to yesterday, you know, could we put another structure out there, get a prefab shop? You see them all over the county. Have it brought in, add insulation and drywall, paint it out, run some power, and then you'd have an exterior office.